Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's Sharry and today we're going to do a super simple, super quick tutorial on how to cut planner inserts. So these are for my ring bound and disc bound planners. My folks that like to use inserts in their planners versus, you know, if you just go out and buy a happy planner, which you can do as well, you can add inserts into that as well. But for those that like a more permanent type of planner, that they're not removing inserts or adding inserts, then this video is not for you. But if you are a ring bound or disc bound planner lover, or someone who likes the flexibility of that, then this video is for those who have never printed inserts, or even if you just get a quick tip and you have had a ring bound or disc bound planner for a while, but you just want to see how I cut it. I have two different variations of inserts here. One is one that I made myself, and then one is from Annie Plans Printables. She has tons and tons of inserts. I use plenty of her inserts in my planners. But recently I have been enjoying making my own inserts, and have even thought of, and it's just a thought, but thought of even trying to start creating my own inserts and potentially either making an Etsy shop or making a Shopify store that people can purchase the inserts that I created. However, this is not an advertisement. This is purely to show you how to cut inserts from printable shops such as Annie Plans Printables or things of that nature. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go with the one that I created first. This is simply a grocery store insert, and of course you're gonna need a trimmer, a paper trimmer, a cutter, whatever you like to use, call it. And for mine, it's really that simple. And I know that I want to say Peanuts Planner Co. Her printables are very similar in the sense that her cut lines are very similar to what I use. And the reason why I created this way, because to me it just makes sense. I don't have to do any finagling with my inserts in terms of using a ruler or anything to make sure that I'm properly cutting and they're measuring appropriately. In terms of like each side of the insert, and that it's cutting evenly and your insert is not slanted, your cut lines are not off. And so this is the way I prefer to do it. So for the inserts that I've created, I went ahead and did my cut lines this way. And there is nothing wrong with the way that the other shops have did theirs, if that's how they prefer to do it. I've used Annie Plans inserts for a long time. I did struggle from time to time, and this is purely user error. This has nothing to do with Annie Plans Printables inserts. It's just the way I was cutting and the way I was putting it in my trimmer. Is just sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't work for me. Some of my cut lines were off. So when I decided to do my own insert, I figured this was the best way for me, and it may be the way you like it, or it may not even matter. So anyway, we're just going to get right into cutting. So the way I have my insert, my grocery list insert, and never mind the ink down here, my printer right now is doing something a little wonky with the cartridge. But I like to keep mine completely lined on the outside and straight down the middle, so there is no confusion as to whether it's going to be even or not in terms of your cut lines. So for mine, it's that simple. You just put it up right against your your paper trimmer. For mine, if you have this Fisker one, you can't put the cut line directly onto this gray bar here because it will cut over that line and you're cutting yourself a little bit short. If you prefer to do it that way, that's perfectly fine too. Just make sure that your paper is all the way down evenly flushed against this this bar down here, if you can see that. Oh no, you cannot even see that at all. So make sure it's flushed completely down here, and make sure that it is even. So when you cut across, cut down that line, you're not cutting crooked. So if you have an insert from another shop or my, not my shop because I don't have a shop, but if you have an insert where their cut lines are very similar to this, it is very simple. You just cut right across that line. And just make sure that it's even, and you should have a pretty even cut line, and your pages should be pretty even across the board. But I know I'd say I've been using inserts for maybe about 2 years now. Man, some of my pages are off. I'm like, why do I keep cutting this wrong? And so I thought this to me was the best way of doing it when I decided to go ahead and make my own insert. And I still use other shops. I have primarily Any Plans Printables. It's not like I have a plethora of different inserts for myself. I just started doing this and playing around with my silhouette Cameo so that I can make inserts. And really based on what I prefer in terms of my insert. So if I do for the middle cut line, I go straight down the middle. And if you cut it evenly, you know that once you stack these two sides together, the papers will be pretty even on each end and you have like the perfect size. This insert, this grocery list is actually for my mini happy planner. I use it in my finance planner so that I can, I use my mini happy planner as a finance planner, and I use my grocery in there. So when I'm going grocery shopping, I know that when I refer back how much money I have allocated for grocery shopping. Okay, so that one was pretty easy. You just cut right along the gray lines and you're gonna get these perfectly even square for your sheets. And it's that simple. For Any Plans Printables, for those folks out there that are using Any Plans Printables, the trick that I have learned over the years, and I just, oh, that printed off, so I'm not even going to use that one. Okay. All right, so this is a password insert. I got straight off her website, and I have messed this up so many times. And you can do this either way. You can do this horizontally or you could do this vertically. It's totally up to you. I prefer to do it because of the size of my ruler on the vertical side. So what I do is I just go ahead and create or take a ruler and I put my two cut lines that Annie put on her printables here. I measure it right across so that it's even, and then I just take a pencil and I draw straight down. Because what's going to happen is, and I drew that way off. My lines are off. Hold on one second. So just remember to be slightly off the line, the cut lines, and not directly on it, so that you can, when you brush your pencil up against it, that it's even. Okay. Don't worry about these extra marks because we're going to be cutting that off anyway. So what usually happens when I cut these inserts is I will lose one side or the other when I cut across. So if you cut horizontally, you're going to be missing these cut lines down here because you've cut it off. So what this is helping you to do is still maintain that cut line, so that way when you cut off the other side, you still have that cut line straight across. So I'm just going to take a pencil, and this is super easy to do. It's just remembering to do it, especially for those folks that have been doing cutting in their own inserts for quite some time. It's easy to forget to do this step, and then by the time you cut it, it's a little too late. So you're just gonna take your ruler again, and you're going to draw that line straight across. And I like to do that with the center as well. Actually, I don't think you really need to do that with the center, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So I have a line straight down. Perfect. Okay, so it is, and there's different ways you can do this. I've seen other YouTubers or YouTube channels do it a different way. I've tried another way where you cut like in the center and the outside is still there, and then you just remove the pages underneath. I tried that and failed it miserably. And so instead I figured I'll come here and just show you probably the easiest way that I think to do this. So you're just gonna take your trimmer and you're gonna bump your insert pages right against that, or your cut lines right against that, and then trim it right off. Oh no, why did I do that? Oh Lord, you weren't supposed to do it that way. Anyway, so here we go. Now I've cut that down. As you can see, I lost my cut line here. So we're gonna make this easy anyway. This is what happens when you're used to doing something for so long a certain way. All right, so now you still have that cut line here. So what I would have done had I not made that mistake is cut against the sides that's already, that doesn't have the line across it where I drew in with the ruler, and I would have cut that first. And then I would have went to my side that has the pencil, the line that I drew with the pencil. And so you'll see here, again, we lost our cut line there. And I'm gonna take this and flip this on the other side. When you do tutorials and you fail, and then you're just gonna cut that straight down. And then lastly, now you can see, and what I would have shown you had I not cut this side first, is that you will have this line straight across. And so once you bump that line up against your trimmer, you have a perfectly even line. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and bump that there. And I know exactly where I'm supposed to be cutting, versus not having the cut lines because you cut it off earlier. Now, for the center, as you can see, you will still have the cut line here, but in order to make sure that my pages are cutting evenly, I just like to go ahead and use my ruler, my pencil, and draw the line straight off of that cut line all the way down. So when I put it up against here, there's no guessing where if it's even or not. So I'm just gonna take that and then cut it straight against that cut line, and perfect. Now I have perfectly even pages. Put that without having any issues on my cut lines, and it looks nice and clean, and all your pages will look very nice in your planner. All right, so that is it. That is simple, it's easy. That is how you cut inserts for your ring bound or your disc bound planners. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys in my next one. Bye.